welcome to another electrifying episode of the High Voltage Live Show. I'm your host, Willie Snyder, coming to you live from the Mile High City, Denver, Colorado. I'm joined by my awesome co-host, Mr. King James Stalkup, over there in Big Sky Country, Texas, giving all hook 'em horns over there from the Mile High City. And thanks a lot, James, for bringing the old Stalkup electrical education our way every week. We really appreciate it. And like I say, I know you've been busy, man. I saw a whole bunch of videos dropping, and that's really awesome, man. And I've actually used a few and converted them into Spotify podcasts. So if you guys are just into like listening to podcasts and you don't want to watch videos, I got them over there on Spotify under Nat King code, and you can check out all our sweet podcast material. We already have the freaking shark in the house here. Dun, 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 dun. Daniel J jumps up in. What's up, brother? Thanks for joining us tonight. And like I say, this means a lot that we can do this every week. I have like so much participation. Like I just been crushing records every week with the amount of people that are jumping in the comments. Like I think I had like record number of comments this week, and so it's a lot of fun doing them. I think I had a little bit of a repeat on the question, so you should have just like a slam dunk on this one, you know what I mean? And then, you know, like the Willie Quiz, you know, easy, all super easy, you know what I mean? Should just be a walkthrough for you, you know. Maybe Daniel might give you a little run for your money this week, but we'll see, you know. A lot of times Daniel joins us live, so that's pretty awesome that Daniel jumps in. And everything. Oh, and we have our friend Mark jumped in. Welcome in, Mark Candles. Yeah,
we'll be on pretty soon, brother.
yeah. Maybe next couple weeks we'll hook up. I'll have my people talk to your people, and we'll see what we can work out. You know. But it's so much fun doing these, and like I say. I think Mark's got to get a cowboy hat if he comes on again. I think you guys are he's gonna try to have a better cowboy hat than you. And
I'm gonna have both of mine. I'm gonna have my felt and my straw.
All right, we'll see. So,
hey, can I do something? Yeah, I'm in Austin. I want to show everybody the YouTube site.
Okay.
We have added a lot of stuff. I want everybody to sort of see. Can y'all see it? Okay. Yeah. Should be on there. When you come over here, we're adding a lot of stuff, and I'm just going to tell everybody, this takes me time to do this. Right. You know, I've been working on this for about a week and a half, just on the tool, the myth, and the topic, and I've been doing some 2023 NEC that I'm updating with the new stuff that I've done. And when you come in here, you know, that's a week and a half, and I've got about 15 on each one. So you can come over here, you can come to the multiple playlist, and if you just want to catch up on the myths, you can watch the whole podcast here. I link these all up under 2024. We also have them under 2023s. That are done here. I got to go back and tag those. But if you come in here and click view the full playlist, you click in here and it automatically sets up with the coloring and all that. But I've labeled everything here for which myth it is. So you can come in here and just look at all the myths you want. If you want to see what I'm doing in the 2023 National Electrical Code changes, you can come over here. And there's a whole bunch on here, but you'll see with the new icons here how they look a little bit different than the other ones right here. I've done quite a bit of work on this with the backgrounds and everything. It's something new I learned, I guess you could say. And
so wasn't that the one where we were doing like 5 a week?
Yes. Okay. And these here, I'll just give you an example here. Like here's equipotential plane. When you're coming into this, I've sort of showed this on another one, but I don't want to listen to all the audio and stuff.
Oh, dude, Daniel J's getting a little rivalry going with CSU. All right, we'll see.
Okay.
That's gonna be interesting. CSU's got a good team this year.
But when you, yeah, I ain't gonna beat Texas. I'll put some money on that. But when you get into this and you start looking at these here, these will set up real nice and neat for everybody. So I'll have all the background lighting and all of this stuff, and
The new
I don't
2023
want to
NEC
listen to that.
text for equal
But
potential
you
playing
can
states
see
that
the
conductive
way
elements
we're
that are connected
developing
together.
everything here. So this is going to
Yeah.
be something new that we've been doing. I sort of like what we've done with this. We come over here like this and goes in the second revision. We put all the buttons over here so you know exactly what you're getting into. When you get over here to the final analysis here, this was sort of one of my favorites because I got a person there like, yes, you know, and I'll show this. This is actually pretty cool, but it has a real cool lighting background and everything. And then it'll take you into the illustration and we go explain all this. Now, when
Nice.
this is actually put online, anywhere on here you see a section, all you do is hover above it and click it. That will be on. Can't do that on, you know, videos like this, but I can do it on a video when I put it into a learning management system because there's tools there that'll give me the permission to do that. But
All right.
well, should I say there's some code I have to write to get it to do that. But
Nice.
as you look at all this, there's all kinds of stuff here. You can just go through and just have a ball with this. And
So how much does this all cost us, James?
zero.
All right. Absolutely nada. So all the people out there, all the people that follow, that's so awesome of you to do, James. Just a free tool that we bring every week, and you know, some little extra work we do. If there's a certain one you want me to turn into a podcast, just let me know, and I'll turn it into a Spotify podcast. And like I say, I could even do some of our you know, different stuff that we do. Sometimes I'll just turn them in, you know, the Willie Quiz into one, you know, just whatever. It's just whatever I feel like doing. And like I say, I'm getting ready to go on vacation, so I'm gonna be doing a little bit different podcast style. So we'll see what I come up with. Might have the myth of the week in the mountains of Colorado. So we'll see.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's
Awesome.
pretty awesome what we got going. You know, and showing you all those there that I've done. I'm not even halfway through what we've done this year. And
Oh, yeah.
and that has been a continuous every day I'm doing that because some of the, you know, it's one thing I have to clip them, and then once I get them clipped and then I download them, then that takes anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on how big it is, especially the ones I did for the German Master Exam Prep. That's an hour and a half easy. But
Right.
once I get those down, then I have to label them, file them up, and all of that. Then I have to upload them back into YouTube, which takes another hour and a half, you know. And then I have to put all the information and get all that in. Then I have to do all the tagging and all this. It's funny because it uploads it. And once it gets uploaded, then it processes it. So then you get another 20, 30 minutes of processing, you know. So, you know, just bear with me. You know, here by the end of September, I will have everything current for the 2024 with all that broke up and everything. And then I'm going to go back to the 2023 because we put those already in there, but I didn't tag them right the way I wanted to. So I'm going to go back, retag, do all that. And then y'all will have, golly, you're probably looking at your 150 by the end of the year. You're looking at 300 plus that. Just for what we've done on the High Voltage Podcast, you'll be at 400 videos.
Wow.
So
yeah, dude, it's awesome. I even like kind of watching them, and like I like to go back and rewind all the parts where I tell everyone that you owe me speed code changes and stuff. So just to remind you, just because like whenever you get around to it, you know what I mean, and then I could just be like just kind of reminding you and stuff every now and then, and like maybe get one of those free membership keys or some kind of get some people like John Reed some little inside moves onto the stall cup training, stuff like that. But like I say, I know you're all good for it. You know what I mean? And so, I didn't think that. I know that you didn't think I was gonna find out that there was a different code count on there. Like for code changes. But I don't know, man. I found out.
I will say one thing I'd like everybody to do is subscribe to the channel. It helps with the algorithms, everything. I'm gonna tell you, ever since I started tagging everything, I mean, what were we at, like 260, something like that. Now we're at 306. I mean, people are joining on, and it's one thing to subscribe, but we'd like you to share it too, because apparently it's one thing.
Oh, there he is. There's John Reed.
Hey, John.
I know John Reed is gonna smash that like button. Appreciate you jumping in, sir.
But
that's so awesome.
But you look at it, it's one thing they subscribe, but apparently the algorithm with YouTube is people sharing it. That's where it really is. So we would appreciate very, very much if you shared it with other electrician stuff. Tell them, hey, just give them a join. They got all kinds of good information on there. We'd really, really appreciate it. So,
dude, I'm telling you, I really like your code change stuff. Like, it's really set up good. And just so everyone knows, that is the same format that he does the continuing education. So it's really cool to follow, and I really felt like I learned a lot because you just go through the video real quick. And the one thing that I did like too, that a lot of the other educators don't do, like a lot of the guys just do, you walk through the code. You actually have a quiz at the end that it's not just word for word. Like you can't just rewind and go word for word. Like what I liked about it was when I took yours for 2020, I had my 2020 code book. When I went to the quiz, I was in that section. So I think it was like, let's just say for example 410. Then I was able to just go in 410 and find the code change and answer the question. And it was real easy. I thought I got a lot out of it, and it was just a cool way of doing it, So.
My favorite part, it costs you nothing, please share. That's the YouTube site.
Sure.
Just go over, subscribe to the YouTube site, go to Stalk Up Electrical Education. Just give us a like and share it. That's all I ask out of anybody. I don't mind doing it all, but give us a subscribe and share. So I actually enjoy doing it. So it makes a big difference. But like you were saying, for the 2023 NEC changes, one of the other things we do that you won't see in any of the other ones is when you go through the video, it takes you through and it does the new 2023 NEC text, and I highlighted in yellow anything where the change took place, the new text that's there. And I can tell you this, we were the first to ever do that in our code change book. We actually underlined it where all the new text was and everything, so everybody'd know what took place. And the reason we did that is because we're going out teaching classes. It was easier for people to see on screen, because what we found out a lot of times, they didn't even come in class with code books. So, sort of helped doing that. And then the next two things that make it very, very awesome is not only we give you that, but then we go in and we put the first revision there. And we were the first to ever do that. Back then it was ROP and ROC, which was report on proposals and report on comments. So now we do the first draft still, and we put on there exactly, we have voiceover, word for word, that sort of voices over the words that's there, what the committee did. Then we go to the second revision and show you what they said there. So you have both of those. And then we go into the final analysis, which is our illustration, and we take the combination of the first and second revision with the new 2023 NEC text, and we explain what took place. Nice. So that
I think you had like a committee statement, and I
It's
think
all
even
there.
now you even have a stall cup statement, don't you?
Well, we do, that's the final analysis. In our
Okay.
publication, it's called Stalkups Comment, but that is the final analysis. But when I get to the illustration, I'm explaining the illustration, what's there and everything, and then I sort of cheat a little bit. Then at the end of it, I take the final analysis that we wrote and just put that text in and voice it over.
Oh, gotcha. Well, like I say, I just want you to not be surprised, when somebody like listens to this podcast and they realize what they have to do to like raise the bar, and then they're gonna show something better. So, like I say,
Waiting
it's
on it.
probably coming. It's probably coming, man. I mean, it's getting ready to go. Any minute now. Uh,
Bring it
but
on.
but I really appreciate like all the work that you do. It means a lot the way you put it all together, and like I say, I try to work a little bit on my end to try to make it easy for you to where like all you have to do is just show up here, just answer a little 5-question easy quiz, and like I say, you can just get out of here and like you go like get in your golf cart and go swing around doing laps around the golf course, doing cookies and with your little hook 'em horns on the front of it and everything, and brag about how good you did. So, that's what it's all about,
Uh,
so
I
it's
did
all
so
about
good.
it's all about the bragging. But I brought Daniel this week, so you can get crushed by Daniel. So
All
we'll
right.
see. Daniel, he's had a little slump, so I think he's got a real rebound this week, and I think he's gonna come back. Like he was going controversial answers last week, and it wasn't doing so good. So I think this week, he'll do better. But welcome in, Michael. Yeah, awesome.
Hmm.
So but yeah. So okay, what is he saying? Oh yeah, exactly. Mark Candel's. So that's really awesome that you guys join us every week. We appreciate you jumping in. And I think I got a pretty good meme this week. Let's check it out.
All right. Let's cue her up.
So it's pretty
That's
funny
something true.
because like you don't realize it until like you'll sit there and talk to somebody and they're like, "Oh, you must be rich," or "Oh man, whatever." They'll say something like, "Oh man, do you just hang out in the ceiling full of spaghetti all day?" I'm like, no, like, but it's pretty funny like when you get all these different takes of what people think electricians do. So
Oh yeah.
we are using our mind extensively every day, so it means a lot. And like I say, I guarantee John Reitz is ready for the myth this week. He's been checking it out, and I think we gotta crack it open this week.
All right. Let's cue her up.
It's time for Myth of the Week.
Yeah, we had a couple comments come in. Daniel says he's using his mind for massive change orders. So yeah, we're constantly getting change orders. Like I always hate that. Like if you didn't want a change order, why'd you change your mind? And yeah, and Michael says it's hard to illustrate to the whole crowd. And yeah, I would agree with that statement. But welcome to the Myth of the Week. We have a great one this week. This was an actual thing that happened live, and it was really funny. I was actually in Mike Holt's forum, and he sent me a thing. We were arguing over 210.8F, and he sent me this thing, and then all of a sudden he went on NEC Live, and then all the arrow just like disappeared. So we brought that audio this week that we'll share with you here in a minute. But the myth of the week, number 118, true or false, the outlet on an individual branch circuit is always located at the disconnect on hardwired utilization equipment. And, you know, I guess I'm going to have to say that that's false. It's not always located there. Now, we found some instances where it could be located there, but, you know, it's just, like I say, this is kind of like a gray area. It's been really tough for me, especially, like, I don't know exactly what's going to happen with 210.8F. I mean, everyone says it's going to stay in. It's not going anywhere, and, you know, it's hard to say what's really going to happen, but, like I say, in my opinion, you remove the outlet to remove the hazard of personnel, but, you know, they're saying that you have to have an outlet on individual branch circuit because it's a branch circuit, and, you know, all this different stuff. But I don't know if you saw, James, but they resolved my public input to add outlet to individual branch circuit, and they said it is not required for the outlet to exist as long as it's connected to an individual, as long as it's connected to one piece of utilization equipment. So that's going to be interesting how they deal with that, because I thought it was required to exist on every branch circuit, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I want to start first. I want to start with some audio that was done a while back on NEC Live. That
I love Corey's response, man. That's so awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to play this, let everybody hear this, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to explain a couple of things, if that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and let's start this audio track and let everybody listen.
You got to go to Article 100 to find what an outlet is. An outlet is the point where you receive power. So let's go back up here. Corey, maybe you can help me with this. Are you ready for this?
Ready.
Okay. Is the disconnect the outlet, or is it the wires that's coming off of the liquid type, the outlet?
I'll let you answer that, Mike. I'm not going to get painted into a corner on that one, but thanks for asking.
You know what I did? You know what I did in my 20 book? I pointed to the disconnect and I said this was an outlet.
Yeah.
And then I forgot where it was. I saw something somewhere and I'm like, the guy said, no, this is the outlet because this is the point where the equipment is receiving its supply. So what I did, Corey, is I removed all pointers on my graphic. So I'm afraid to point here, but watch this, Corey. If you read this, you don't even know what I'm talking about because I don't even identify what an outlet is. So I think what I'm going to do. Mario, if you're watching this, I'm going to point to the disconnect just only because it makes it simpler to understand. But if anybody says, well, I think the outlet is right here, I'm going to like, well, you're. So I'm sure 2026, we're going to have a definition of what an outlet is that we had for 125 years that we had no question on. There was no problem. Now we don't know what an outlet is. At least I don't know what that is.
Mike, while we were talking, too, Ryan Jackson chimed in and he had the information. He said that 210.8F has 3 appeals going to the Standard Council as of today when he looked today. So this is still, it continues to be a hot topic, understandably so. But you know, it's important to keep in mind. I mean, I get everybody is passionate in this industry, and that's why I love the industry. That's why we all love the industry. This is a process, right, guys? So, you know, people submit public inputs. It gets vetted at many levels. It goes through the process. It goes before code making panels that are huge, intermixed, you know, way. So it's not loaded in one thing, you know, it's spread out across the court. So everybody has to get through this whole process to get to where we are. And we've had plenty of times, you know, in the NEC where we come back through and went, you know, or the public has came back through and said, no, we didn't get it right. Let's fix it. Right. So NFPA does not create this, does not do that. We just are the gatekeepers essentially. Right. So the process is what's so important to this and why everybody needs to get involved in this, because, you know, everybody has an opinion and it's got to go through. And sometimes we're like, hey, we need to tweak this, or hey, we didn't get this right. And then it's got to get vetted and you know, brought back up the next cycle. So, you know, we've just got to go through the process and live with what we have, what comes out the side of the process until we can change it again, if need be.
All right. Now, that was would make them both outlets, it would seem. Okay. Now, I want to touch base on a couple of things. First of all, the one thing he said, or could it be the point where the conductors leave the flex? You know, I mean, what are you saying there? Are you saying we just have a free floating outlet? It just exists in a infinite space. It's just magically there. I can't even believe he made that statement, to be honest. That I've never heard anything like it. But I will say this: the reason that they got to that point was because this argument started when Bill had me on his podcast. It's been quite a few years ago, and he was asking me about GFCI protection for AC.
Well, it was funny because you didn't even know. I kind of blindsided you, and you didn't even know about it. And the whole thing was, I was saying that the disconnect can't be an outlet because it's a switching device.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Those guys are calling that an outlet?
Yeah.
Funny.
And I said, you look at our code change book, we just dismissed it because there is no outlet there. There's no GFCI protection required. That's where we stood at the first. And then as soon as that come out, I started getting attacked. Well, as soon as I started getting attacked was first they told me it was at the disconnecting means on the load side. And I said, no, it didn't. I said, if you go look at the definition for a disconnecting means, it says a device or group of devices. And I said, you go look at a device. I said, if you're going to say that, you can say the circuit breaker's an outlet. And
yeah,
so,
and Michael's saying that same thing. And thanks for the great comments, Michael. That's exactly what we're saying is they have to give like a location of where that outlet is. You can't just say it's the wires that leave the seal tight, in the unit. And, like the reason they're doing that is just the same reason like where you got called out by Mr. Research. And, he said that it's the point where the wires connect and the terminals and all that. And they rejected it.
Yeah, they rejected everything that, well, I'll get to that point. I said, well, I'll just go ahead and comment on that. So, he wrote a proposal of public input and basically called me out and said an author and instructor out there that's well known is saying there's no outlet, and apparently he doesn't know what he's doing. He said this will help clarify, basically saying that where the wires connect, and they said no, that isn't right. They rejected it. So then they come back on me and they said, well, it was already perfectly explained, therefore that's why they rejected it. I said, well, that's not what they said. So, but to make a long story short, so we got into that. Then they went to the AC unit, and I said, now if you go look at the definitions in the code, I said, you have an outlet that's outside. I said, does that outlet have to be weatherproof? They said, what the hell's that got to do with it? I said, well, you're calling it an outlet, and you're applying the NEC. Therefore, the manufacturer, when they design that equipment and get a listing and labeling, they have to look at the National Electrical Code. And if you go look at OSHA 1910.7, it's very specific that they have to consult the code. Well, they don't call it an outlet. Therefore, they don't have to worry about it being weatherproof because it's not. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's...
we've covered this before. That wiring compartment on the AC unit, I've done a lot of research. That's considered a dry location by the manufacturer.
That's right. And I said that. So then the next thing happened. They went to where the wiring method itself connected to the AC unit. So there was arguments back and forth, but every time they came up with something, I explained my position on it. Okay. Now I want to show a couple of things here. Now this happened in the 2026, and this is the one that Bill submitted here, and they gave a resolution. He come in to change this. I couldn't get everything up on the screen. I actually had to type some of this in because it went so far y'all wouldn't be able to see it. But they basically said the proposed language does not add clarity. Now, this particular definition is under the purview of Code Making Panel 2, who is pushing 210 2.8F. Okay, and so the interesting part about this is when it first came in, I specifically stated I doubt they'll even have compatibility to the AC unit by 2029. They told me I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. It'll happen in 2026. Well, that didn't happen. And they said it would happen in 2023. They said it was going to happen. And I said,
it's not going to happen by January 1st, 2026.
No, it isn't.
But I like this, how it says, it is not necessary that only one outlet exists. So right there, I mean, that tells you that that's a totally different branch circuit. Then why would you need a different definition? You can just call them all branch circuits.
Yeah, well, the thing that gets me here, they tell you an individual branch circuit is a branch circuit that supplies only one utilization equipment. You wanted it to say outlet. Well, what's the difference? Why can't I just put outlet there? Let's get off utilization equipment. It's an outlet anyway. And then, like you said, they turn around and say, and it is not necessary that only one outlet exists. What?
Yeah, so that tells me that.
First of all, I want to ask this. If you got only one piece of utilization equipment, how are you going to have two outlets there?
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, I don't understand what they're saying here, but it says it is not necessary that only one outlet exists as long as the individual branch circuit is serving one utilization equipment. Well, you know what that sounds like? That sounds like the definition for a branch circuit.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that sounds like. So, what they realize here, they got a problem between what branch circuit says and what individual branch circuit says. The reason this is an individual branch circuit is because it's just feeding utilization equipment. And utilization equipment, if you're hardwiring, it doesn't have an outlet. But now, if I want to take and I want to go over and hit a plug, and I'm only feeding one piece of utilization equipment there that I'm going to cord and plug connect, then you have an outlet.
Dude, okay? That's a funny comment, Michael. We think inlets are outlets. They're a point on the wiring system where current is taken or given. So.
Well, I want to show another portion here. Now, this is the one that I submitted on the disconnecting means. Now, I did put it in the information note because I want to make sure I got a comment back on this. And they did exactly what I wanted them to do. They say here in the resolution, they say the load side of a disconnecting means is not always the outlet. Okay, now that becomes interesting because now they're saying that the disconnecting means could be an outlet. Well, how is that possible? That is the best part of this. So, and this goes to my arguments right here I've been making. I'm saying the utilization equipment doesn't have an outlet. Okay. Now I'm gonna ask this for the audience that's listening. If I go over and I have, let's say I have a switch over here on the wall, and I'm coming from that switch and I'm wiring directly from that switch to say a 2x4 fluorescent light. Is that fluorescent lighting there? Is that considered utilization equipment?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now, let me ask you this. I state right here at this point that right there, which I've been maintaining this whole time, this is a type of insulation here where they say the load side of a disconnecting means is not always outlet. I'm saying this is a point where you actually have an outlet like you do a receptacle outlet. You've got a device there that's in what? The box. Outlet. That's right. There's a box there. Outlet box, which is what I've been saying. No different if I went up there. Now, let me ask you this. If I went up there and I put a box in the ceiling and then fed that fluorescent fixture, where's the outlet now?
The box.
It's at the box. Because you go look at 314.23, that lays that out. Okay? Sure. Now, if I'm coming strictly from this disconnecting means the one thing that is held common with all this, there's a box there. Okay? So I have a box, and guess what I have there? A disconnecting means, which is a device. And from that device, I'm feeding over to that light fixture that's where I would take and have an outlet in this type of installation. And
But
this,
see, what I like about this, James, I actually looked at your public input, and I actually wrote the myth directly off of this because I said it's always an outlet, you
Sure.
know. And then Mike Holt was like, "Well, I put the arrow pointing at the disconnect because I don't know," and
Sure.
I just thought that was funny, you know. It just
well, that goes. That's why I wanted to play that, because he doesn't know. That's apparent. He doesn't know, because I mean he's flip flopping back and forth. He doesn't know what to put. And
Yeah.
and I've always maintained, and I'm giving examples of why I believe what I believe. Now, if the code making panel doesn't agree with it, that's fine with me. But as of right now, I'm giving definitive proof based off some resolutions that have been done here by the committee statement. And I would encourage everybody, I didn't put it in there, but go read where I did device too. See,
Yeah.
you can actually at a point have a device as an outlet also. Well, how is that? Well, you got a receptacle there. That receptacle's put where? In a box, which is the outlet. That's a receptacle outlet. The same over here with a switch. I go over there, I put a box. That's my outlet box there. Now, if I take and put a disconnect there that comes in an enclosure, that's not an outlet. That's an assembly. You
Sure.
see what I'm saying? And that is the difference. That's why it's not always an outlet. If it's an assembly, it can't be an outlet. And if you go look
Sure.
at the manufacturer's instructions, they don't call it an outlet on the load side. Nowhere in those manufacturer's instructions does it make such a statement. And that's why.
And the
Go
one
ahead.
thing that I noticed is, and this is one thing that when I look at it, so when this first came in, it was like, all right, 210.8F covers all outdoor outlets, and me and you were like, oh, that's cool. And then they're like, oh, this includes hardwired utilization equipment. We're like, wait a minute, what? And we're like, where's the outlet? You know, and like, where's the outlet that you need to protect personnel from, you know, this hazard that happened in 2007, you know?
Mhm.
Like, so you're telling me you waited 5 code cycles to get this in there? Like, wow, that's a real rush to get it in there, you know? But my whole reasoning is, so right in our bedroom we have a window shaker that's got a GFPE on it that's 10 foot away from our head, you know? And that's totally fine. But you're saying this box that's on the side of our house that cools our whole house that nobody ever goes around, that's got to be on Class A? You know, I mean, to me, that's just asinine.
Let me take that a step further, since you're talking about that. You know, he brought up Brian Jackson there in the audio. Well, let me tell you what happened there. All right. There was a task group that was formed to go in and check all these AC units. They did it in Houston. There was like 100 and something AC units they checked. And they submitted. Now, I want you to understand what I'm saying. When they submitted that documentation, that was technical merit testing and everything that was done to make this determination. Now, let me tell you what happened. The code making panel too, and this is where I take issue. They took and rejected that TIA and they wrote their own TIA. Now, this is the interesting part. They wrote a TIA that had no technical merit at all. All right. I've been in the code making process a long time. When the task group comes in and they got technical merit showing everything, that's usually what you go off of. I've never seen this before. Okay. They rejected it. And then apparently Ryan Jackson got on the General Assembly floor, and he gave this big, and you had, who was it? Thomas Dimitrov said he did a mic drop. Well, we said, tell us what that mic drop was. Well, they didn't comment on anything. He apparently did his mic drop for this TIA to pass. Well, as soon as that happened, I started getting bombarded by all these guys over at ECD telling me, see there, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I said, it ain't going to pass. And they said, that shows you don't know the code making process. I said, once it gets to Standards Council, I said, they didn't have the technical merit to do what they did. I said, it'll be rejected. and the Standards Council will accept the TIA that was submitted by the task group because it had the technical merit. And they said, you'll see, you don't know nothing. You're just a blowhard. Call me all kinds, and they called me a lot worse than that. And I was okay.
Like they were attacking me too, you know. And the thing was that, like, well, it was probably because I was making all these memes and stuff, and I was like, oh, the mic drop, whoa, you know.
Yeah.
But it was so funny because we've called this out a lot of times, and I thought it was interesting because I went and I submitted my public input to delete 210.8F, and they never mentioned the death from electrocution as an example before, which it was a tragic death. You know, a kid died and he was jumping a 6-foot fence. He jumped on an AC unit. He crushed the AC unit. It crushed the seal tight, lost the ground reference, and killed him. You know, that's horrible. But the whole thing was that they saw this as an opportunity to make money, to, you know, fund products, you know, and to me, that's where it's just despicable. You know, I mean, the whole thing is, this happened in 2007, so you're sitting there telling me, you know, 17 years ago, you're worried about this being a problem, you know? And this is on pieces of equipment that you're telling me has one incident in 24 years or whatever, you know, 17 years, you know? And you're saying that incident is the basis for this code change in 2020. And to me, I was fine with it. The problem was the transparency. There wasn't transparency. Well, now all of a sudden, here we come in 2023. We're already in 2023. They pushed it through. We got into the 2023. It's got into the 2020. So it's been through 2 code cycles, and it's never really been enforced here in Colorado. I don't think it's ever really been enforced in Texas.
Nope.
But like, you sit there and they're like, oh, well, they're not enforcing it because they're not compatible. Okay, well, then it needs to be deleted. You know, and the thing is that's fine if they want to just put a boat anchor into the code and, like, think they're just going to push their weight and everything. But the problem is that now with 2026, my public input, they actually mentioned the death by electrocution as their example. And I'm like, okay, number one, that's abnormal use of equipment. That's not covered by the National Electric Code. Number two, that's a code violation of 2005 NEC, which was the current code at the time. Number three, it's not going to be compatible with all equipment for January 1st, 2026, when the 2026 edition gets submitted and is going into place. So to me, that's grounds enough just to delete 210.8F.
Yeah, and like you said, one of the things that I keep coming back to is usually when they look at making a change, there's a reason. There's technical merit there to do so. They didn't have the technical merit to do what they did because the kid that got killed was due to improper wiring, and it wasn't wired correctly. And the other one,
abnormal use of equipment. You can't sit there and force a manufacturer to put steel grates on every unit that they make just because kids could jump on them. Correct. That's ridiculous.
And you know, the other 2 or 3, I don't remember how many now, but deaths that happened were due to maintenance issues, and they wasn't following 70E, and that, you know, they got across something. If they'd have been applying the 70E standard for safety in the workplace, that wouldn't have happened either. So, you know, they gave these instances, but these instances had nothing to do with equipment. The equipment didn't fail. That was causing the problem. What happened is due to other errors. And, you know, for them to take something like that and then just automatically put it in, I don't agree with that. And then I'll take another step further. They didn't even consider the compatibility issues. And here in Texas, you know, it freaking gets hot in the summer. If that breaker's tripping, guess what? You got old people and stuff. They die of heat. You know they come in and said it's a safety issue. Well, no, you created more of a safety issue. And if there were people that died from that, I don't know if there's anything on there that any information if that did happen. But to me, that could be a bigger problem than what they were trying to require.
Yeah, and we covered this too. There was I thought it was like somewhere in the neighborhood of like 700 deaths nationwide when they tried to put this in. And that was the whole reason for putting the task group on it, to try to test the compatibility. And I think the task group said that there was just like way too many that were incompatible. And then that's what the reason that the Standards Council decided to put the overall exception in for incompatible equipment. I could tell you right now, the AHJ Colorado was like, nope. They're like, we don't care. Like, like, if it's, the thing is, it's too hard to like sift through to have like 4 inspections for like one AC unit and then be like, well, it has this UL sticker, it has this different thing, and that stuff's really tough. And state of Colorado, they said nope, no thank you. They basically, we're like right now we're on 2017 code when it comes to that,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean that's cool. I actually got an official interpretation from the state of Colorado. I actually like reached out to him and was like, hey, can you tell me where we're at on this, because I want to know. And they're like, yeah, they're like, that whole thing's a mess. And and it's just frustrating because what it is actually is it's a disconnect. It's a disconnect from the people that write the code to the people that are out in the field installing.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff has to work. I mean, we're gonna have to address this more and more and more as we go through. We have so many things that are incompatible. We have LED drivers that are incompatible with Class A devices. Mm-hmm. We have refrigerators that are incompatible with Class A devices. The refrigerators, if you look at the statistics, there's like almost 0 injuries, in this whole entire time. And they've been ignoring the code this whole entire time because they don't work on Class A protection, on Class A devices,
That's
so
correct.
it's pretty, yeah, and John Reitz is on 2017 too. We're supposed to be on 2023, but, like I say, it's crazy because there's so many of them now. Like the inspectors, they're the AHJ. If they see stuff, the code making panel writes stuff and they think it's safer, and the AHJ sees that there's no safety violation, then they just pass it without. Because I remember right when that refrigerator one came out, I was doing a job for a commercial place, and the inspector's like, yeah, you know about all the code changes, huh? And I was like, oh yeah. And he says, yeah. He goes, well, refrigerator's supposed to be on GFCI now. He's like, it needs to be a GFCI protected receptacle. And I was like, yeah. He goes, but I don't want you to do it because if their fridge, kicks out or something, he's like, I don't want to hear about it. So just go ahead and just put on a regular thermal mag. And I'm like, all right. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? He was like, I don't want to mess around with that stupid stuff. He's like, I don't agree with them and whatever. And like, that's my first eye-opening experience with this code-making process. And I think you remember when that came out and you were like, oh, there's going to be a lot of problems with this one,
Oh,
and,
yeah. I've made this comment. You got people that are on the code making panel, but they've never been out there and installed anything and see the problems that they're causing.
True.
And that's the thing that gets me is look at the problems that it's causing. And I tell you, there's one thing a city hates more than anything. You know what that is?
Lawsuits.
Nope. Or that too, but more than anything is their residents calling, complaining. I lost my food. Why'd y'all put this GFCI on there? It tripped. I lost this. I lost this. This is tripping. I can't keep nothing on. And that's one thing they don't want to hear is the residents calling, complaining, just because they're trying to enforce something and didn't even check to see if it was compatible or not.
So for me, like if I just like flip my hat around and put myself in like say an inspector's position, and I wasn't seeing like if I went and I looked at the statistics, like from the last 10 years of refrigerators and wall-mounted AC units that are they're trying to say need to be on Class A devices now, like I would not even require that at all because the statistics don't show anything major that's like it's always misuse of equipment. It's always abnormal use of equipment. Like you cannot justify abnormal use of equipment in the National Electric Code. That's just it's unheard of. So that's kind of where I run into a little bit of a problem. But like I say, I really appreciate everyone out there for this myth of the week. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing it, and like I say, I might have got a little bit of hate mail, and James might have got a little, but it's fun to kind of bring this, try to like we're trying to freaking get this divide to shrink, like we can't have this disconnect of this is the code language over here, this is me over here installing. It's like it has to shrink at least a little bit.
Well, I look at it this way. I look at it, here's what the code says, and here's the real world.
True.
This is the real world. We want it back to here,
Yeah.
And that's my whole thing. This is the real world. What you're saying doesn't work, True. And you didn't do any compatibility studies or anything. Y'all just started adding stuff. GFCI protect this, but you did no research, no compatibility issues or anything. You didn't check any of it. But yeah, we're supposed to believe what you say.
Well, that's what's going to be really interesting about the 62554, just for the fact that they didn't completely delete it because that's what they wanted. UL actually proposed, representative for UL, proposed to completely delete 62554 and just use the language in 210.8F. And 210.8,
Yeah, they said no way.
And they didn't delete it. And then they actually passed my proposal to add outlet to it, which I didn't think they were going to pass because I thought all mine were going to get rejected. But now I got a rebuttal coming back to be like, all right, so you guys are going to complicate the installation of these EBSE, and then where's your testing on the compatibility, of these Class A devices when the manufacturers got built-in personnel protection, and then on top of that, they're assuming the liability because the outlet, from their standpoint, is at the vehicle.
It's funny because you go look at the definition, they tell you the outlet is at the vehicle. So that's why they got a problem. Said no, we're not deleting it, and that's where the problem comes in, and that's like those are the things that I've been stating for a long time now. So, but anyway, let's get topic week. We're almost at an hour already.
I know. We're gonna have people coming in for the Willie Quiz soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this going. It's funny because I do have one more comment on that, talking about the myth of the week, just so everybody knows. In 2026, they passed unanimously. They tell you the outlet can't be reconditioned.
That's funny.
So, that goes back to what I was saying. If it's at the AC unit, if I could recondition it, I mean, that's a listed unit. How are you going to recondition that one? I mean, just okay.
It makes you wonder. That one's funny though. The other one that's funny is when you said it can't be an outlet until a cord's plugged into it. That was a good one too.
See, they're twisting my words. What I actually said there, and I said, because it had to deal with the switch that was going over. Then I said, like a receptacle that you cord and plug connect into. When I was saying it was hardwired, I said you had to have a box out there that's the outlet or the hardwire. I said it's not inside the equipment because the code, the manufacturer has to take the NEC into consideration, and they don't make it weatherproof. You know why? Because it's not an outlet. And see, that's where my argument always comes in. If they have to follow the code, which is required by 1910.7B2, you go look at it in OSHA. They tell you they have to follow the national codes. If they look at the national code and they did not make that supposedly outlet that's inside the AC unit, why isn't it weatherproof?
Well, and I'll take it one step further. If you look at the manufacturer instructions from Tesla, and it says no GFCI protection is required when hardwired, where does that say? Outdoors, indoors, in garages, in accessory buildings, in boat yards, marinas? Where does that say anywhere? It doesn't.
Well, Code Making Pound 1, you're about to get a rebuttal, and I'm putting in there. I'm going to submit a comment that says the National Electrical Code overrides the manufacturer's instructions. Watch, they'll reject it. You know why they're going to reject it? Because they already comply with the National Electrical Code.
Sure.
So, all right, let's get topic week. That's great
Do
discussion tonight. I actually enjoyed that a lot. All right.
I did too.
Now, this is just like we looked at in 501.3, and where we were dealing with class 1, div 1, div 2, and they got into where you get into your dust and fibers and flying stuff here, and they're dust, the fibers, flying, 503. But when you get in, you looking at this, they did the exact same thing here. And talking about reconditioned equipment, and they got very specific. And you'll notice they tell you it's permitted to be installed. You can recondition this equipment, okay? But if you do it, it has to be in accordance with what? The manufacturer's instructions, which if there are no instructions provided, then you have to go through a NERL, okay?
Right.
Now, how many times I said, now let me ask, and I'll ask this question to people that are watching. If I have to go in and have a nationally recognized standard that's set up for this, which would be they'd set up through a UL 508 or 508 shop, do you think when they're looking at this and they're going to recondition this equipment, do you think they would have taken the National Electrical Code into consideration when they're designing that equipment?
Well, yeah, it's the supporting document, right?
That's right. And then they get in where they talk about dust ignition proof here and dealing with class 2 div 1
there
motors and also generators.
There could be a bunch of NFPA standards that they're taking into account.
Oh yeah, matter of fact, I brought that up. We did one of the changes and they were referring over to another standard you need to look at. Matter of fact, we'll have one in here in just a little bit that when we get over to Article 517, you're gonna see a lot of change that comes in there. And I was trying to remember, I forget exactly which standard it is, but it's an NFPA standard. And nice. Then they come down, you got Prin 2 here where they talk about intrinsically safe equipment. And they talk about the replacement of printed circuit breaker circuit board assemblies and modules with the like for the components provided the original manufacturer. Okay, so they're coming in and they're just telling you certain things here that they're going to allow for this, but you can go look at other articles and look at reconditioned equipment. You won't see all this listed here like this detail. And the reason that is because you're dealing with an area that's very hazardous. True. Okay, and that's why they look at. I'm not going to go through the committee statement. I already been through that. Then we looked at this in 501.130C, and the same thing. They got the luminaire retrofits again here. Okay, right. And all they're telling you here is that these retrofits are required to be certified here. You got a certification that they're listed and labeled for what? A hazardous classified location. And in this case, you're dealing with class 2 locations. Okay. And
yeah, and I want to give a big shout out to all the people that do these retrofit kits. Y'all are doing a great job. Like the retrofit kits that I've gotten, they comply with the NEC. They comply with listing and labeling of the new fixtures, and they've been just such a breeze to install. So I want to give a big shout out. They've been doing a great job. Like they've been paying a lot of attention, and it makes it easier for us to install these out in these hazardous locations.
And that's good because they get in, they talk about the modification to these existing luminaires. And the great thing is they say, once again, it has to be done in accordance with what? The manufacturer's instructions that are provided with it.
Yeah.
Okay? Once again.
Dude, I'll tell you what, like some of these like lamps that we're installing for like signs and stuff, like all the measurements are done. It's perfect. It's like they have everything installed, everything provided with the kit. All you have to do is just screw it in. All the lamps fit, everything fits. You wire it the way they tell you on the manufacturer's instructions. You walk away, you're done. It's real simple.
And here's another proposed change for 2026. This here is where you're getting into your zone locations. Okay? And you look, they're doing the exact same thing here. Okay? Where they're talking about your reconditioned motors and generators. And they say it has to be, once again, in accordance with what? The manufacturer's instructions. Okay?
So has any of this changed, or is this just clarification?
Well, no, this is going to change if it stays the way it is for the second revision that's coming up.
Gotcha.
Okay? These are all the proposed ones that have passed at this point. Okay?
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, this is the one where they're dealing with NFPA 99, and this was interesting because I've never really looked at NFPA 99 because I don't deal with
Isn't that healthcare?
Yeah, this is healthcare, Article 517. Okay. And what they're doing here is you've got risk categories and risk assessments that they're pulling out here for these patient care areas. And they come in and they tell you these risk categories, and there's 4 categories here. And they tell you what these 4 categories are. Okay? And as you go down through it, and you start looking at it, they tell you in the informational note there that major injury can include any of the following, and this is through any amputation, loss of the side of the eye, whether temporary or permanent, chemical or hot metal burn to the eye, or any penetrating injury to eye. I mean, they just go through. They've got 7 items here they list that sets up based on these categories, because if you look at these categories, they're almost exactly the same in wording. The only difference is you got to go over and look at NFPA 99 to tie this in. Then look at this. Then they come into the risk assessment here. Now, I find this interesting. Let me tell you why. Because if you go look at NFPA 70E, where you're doing electrical safety in the workplace, one of the things we always tell you to do is a risk assessment, don't we?
Oh,
okay. Yeah. And what they tell you here in the risk assessment, it says the healthcare facilities governing body shall establish the processes and operation that are planned for the healthcare facility. Then they tell you the governing body shall conduct risk assessments and shall determine the risk categories based on the character of the processes and operations conducted in the healthcare facility, and risk categories shall be classified by the healthcare facility's governing body by following and documenting a defined risk assessment procedure. And then it says, where required by the authority having jurisdiction, I'm gonna expand on this just a little bit. The risk assessment shall be provided to the authority having jurisdiction for review based on the character of the processes and operation conducted in the healthcare facility. Now, the reason I bring it up, it was probably been about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. We had a guy come in from the state when I was doing as a moderator over at UTA BPI, which is Building Professional Institute. And we used to have all of these the inspectors in Texas all over used to come this. God, there'd be so many people that'd be there for all different types of construction. And we had this guy come in and he was going over the code, and he actually showed the state of Texas where they differ from what the code says and had more stringent requirements. So when the reason we did the course is so when the inspectors were going out checking for a hospital or something, they would have guidance on what they were looking at. They actually gave checklists of the differences of what they required compared to what the National Electrical Code and NFPA 99 stated.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I will tell you to check with your state to know the difference in that. Now, that all comes from experience,
Yeah.
and, we built and I'll tell you how I know this is because we had a brand new hospital that went in Grapevine, Texas, and it was Baylor Healthcare, and nice facility. And I remember going out there and I was like, I think I heard Dad sometimes say something about that. So I called him and he said, yeah, you need to check with the state. And I called down the state and they got me in contact with a person, and he actually come down and met with me and went over the differences from what was on it. And we actually had to fix like 8 items that the state was more stringent on than what the engineer had given. And I had just started there, and the plans review guy we had didn't know. So we had to have all those items brought up to state requirement. Isn't that something?
Okay. Wow.
So that's how I've learned all this stuff.
Okay.
All right. Now
You're like, that's how I got all these scars.
yeah. And now this one, they come in and they just added here where you have other structures that are set here, and they tell you that where you have all these other structures, and they're saying that the chassis of these multiple relocatable structure sections shall be bonded together with a solid copper number 8 minimum insulated or bare bonding conductor with terminations in accordance with 250.8 and 250.12. So they're basically saying if you have more than 2 structures that you need to bond them all together. Okay. And then where you get in, you're dealing with agricultural stuff here. This is, they come in, and I've always stated this. I've always thought this needed to be in there. But this is where they get into your equipotential plane construction. And they're telling you what they want you to do here. So you got structural reinforcing steel, and they tell you here where you have unencapsulated structural reinforcing steel that it's required to be bonded by steel tie wires or the equivalent or a copper grid. And it says if you're doing a copper grid, you have to meet these following requirements, and it has to be constructed of a minimum number 8 bare solid copper conductor. It's got to be bare, bonded to each other at all points of crossing in accordance with 250.8. That's your connection side. Then it says they are arranged in a 12 by 12 network of conductors in a uniformly spaced perpendicular grid pattern with a tolerance of 4 inches. Okay. Yeah. So I think this is good. They've been doing it this way for a long time. And if you really want to look at it, you can go over and also look at 555.14 and 682.33. It matches the same requirements that are required there. Okay.
Nice.
And then they added this dealing with your mobile homes in 550.32. And this is the service equipment. And they added this for where you have a replacement home. And it says when you have existing service equipment and it is reconnected to a replacement mobile or manufacturer home, the service is required at this point to be provided with surge protection device that's in accordance with 230.67. And if you'll remember, we actually went over that a little bit, that they made some changes there in this cycle for the surge protection device.
Hey, so I got a question for you
That's
on
it.
that one.
Yeah.
Do you think that they would include Willie Jackerson throwing his cord over to the Walmart because the Walmart has surge protection device and he's only doing a one circuit installation, service installation per 230/71?
You're doing it wrong. What you need to do, you need to dig a ditch over there and come in and connect to the roadside that meter.
Well, the Walmart, I guarantee, had to have a surge protection device for their service, so I don't know.
You need to go over and connect to that service, what you need to do.
Yeah, all right.
Trying to help you out, brother.
Just trying to make it easy. So I just want to thank everyone so much for following the Willie Quiz. I haven't seen anybody jump in. I didn't talk to Adam. I've been so busy, man. Dude, like I say, I'm trying to get like my vacation time approved and try to get everything in. And like I say, trying to get ready. We just got reservations. We're going up to my family cabin in Estes Park.
Awesome.
And my great grandfather built it in the early 1900s, so we're gonna head up there. And it's funny because all my kids are like, "There's a TV up there?" I'm like, "Nah." You know what I mean? Like, they're like, "Is there a grill?" I'm like, "I'm not sure we could grill," but we'll see.
Like, the porta potties outside in a shack.
Yeah, I mean they have a modern bathroom. We have modern bathroom. It's really awesome. Like, I think I'm gonna do not this weekend, but next weekend. I think I'm gonna do my podcast like out in nature. I think I'm gonna go out like somewhere. I'm gonna hike out somewhere, and I'll actually do my podcast like somewhere in the wilderness. So it'll be the first time I actually made my studio portable, so I could just do it from anywhere.
Sure thing.
And I just think like the sounds from nature might be kind of soothing or something, and then I'll just kind of get those sounds from nature and then just kind of throw them on a loop and then do my podcast, So I haven't really figured out what I'm going to do yet, but I've been working on a lot of techniques and I've been getting better, and I really appreciate all the constructive criticism everybody gives me. Like, I had my sweet 4th of July party, and there's like fireworks going off in the background, and I had like my 50th birthday party. It was at Oktoberfest, and there was all these people cruising around and everything, so I'm gonna just get these a little bit better recording techniques and stuff. So check out the Willie Jackerson podcast, and like I say, it's really funny if you Google it. And I want a big shout out to Bob Cook and Lemonhead, man. He got that thing so blowed up on Google, man. Like, it's like 10 pages long if you Google the Willie Jackerson experiment. So
awesome.
Really appreciate it. And like I say, we'll just go ahead and roll the Willie Quiz. Brought the big guns with the belt, baby.
You're in that good a shape, man. Damn.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. Like I say, the abs might have slipped a little, but we'll see. I really appreciate everyone joining. Thanks for joining the most electrifying quiz on social media, the Willie Quiz. In what year was the first Sturgis motorcycle rally held? Is it A, 1929, B, 1935, C, 1938, D, 1942, or E, it never happened? Good luck, everyone. All right, so Cesar is going to be texting his answers. That's perfectly fine, Cesar. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you. And like I say, you got Daniel J that you're going to
Well,
have to
I think
compete
it was.
with.
Now I know a little bit. Well, he helped me out there because I was saying I think it's in the 30s, and the interesting thing I actually learned about Sturgis from watching American Chopper when they
Okay.
went to the Sturgis thing, and then there was another one. What's his name? I forget his name. He actually had a biker build off against them. He's
Like the
here.
Orange County something or something?
Well, this guy's in Austin, and I forget his name. He does like he's more old school type, but I
Okay.
think everybody's right. I'm gonna go with C too because I remember it being in the 30s, and I think that's correct. As a matter of fact, if I remember right, when I was watching that, I think the guy that started it, he was with the owner of Indian Motorcycles,
Yeah.
and it's
Well,
like
no, he
something
actually just owned
OL
a
or some shit like that.
dealership or something.
Yeah, or dealership. Yeah, I just remember
Yeah, he didn't
he was
own
with
it.
the Indian Motorcycles. I remember something about that. Okay, I'll go with C. That sounds good.
All right, and the winner is Daniel J with the first correct answer, C. And so Daniel J gets the tie win against King James tonight. So really awesome. Daniel's already in here shredding it up. So
He's firing off tonight. All right,
Yeah.
let's see what the next one
So
is.
question 2. All right, who is the founder of the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally? Was it A, David Munson? Was it B, Clarence Howell? Was it C, William Harley? Was it D, Walter Harley? Or E, none of these answers are correct? Good luck, everyone.
I'm gonna
All
go
right,
with
John Reese comes out of the gate. Oh, dude, John Reese knows how I work, man. He knows none of these might be correct, man.
I'm going
Ooh,
with
good
B
one.
because that sounded similar to what I said earlier.
What's that?
Howell or however. I sort of remember that name. I'm going with B. It might not be any of them, but I think it's B.
Oh man, you guys, John Reese might just get a point here, but no, it's Daniel J gets the B answer. So Daniel ties with everyone with a B answer, and man, it was Clarence Howell. So
Yeah.
awesome.
I
You guys
just-
are so smart.
I just said it too. I was like, it's like how or something like that. I couldn't remember how they said it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't
Alright.
Harley.
Yeah, all right. So, what motorcycle club formed by the rally's founder played a significant role in the early years of the Sturgis Rally? Was it A, the Hells Angels? Was it B, the Dark Lords? Was it C, the Jackpine Gypsies? Or is it D, the Mongols? Good luck, everyone.
I actually
Right,
know
looks
this
like
one.
I got everyone stumped on this one.
Not me. I know what it is. Matter of fact, I know the rally. I even know how many days it did. I hope you asked that question. But I do know who the club was here. I'll wait for everybody else to answer.
All right, well, it looks like Daniel J goes first with the answer of C, the
Damn.
Jackpine Gypsies.
He's copying me tonight.
And I can guarantee Cesar Blanco is a Jack Pine Gypsy already. So, John Reitz has a good one. When in doubt, see it out. And you are correct. It is the Jack Pine Gypsies. Answer C.
Yep.
So
I knew that one.
Good answers. So far we have a tie game, and Daniel is in the lead with the first answer. All right. What South Dakota town hosts the annual Sturgis Motorcycle Rally? Is it A, Rapid City? Is it B, Black Hills? Is it C, Sturgis? Or is it D, Crazy Horse? Good luck, everyone. I might have a little trick up at my sleeve on this one. Might be tricking you guys. You never know.
I'll wait for everybody because I'm going to tell you what I think.
All right.
Let's
Might
see
have a
what
little
everybody
trick.
guesses.
Oh, dude, Daniel J might have just fell into my trap with a C answer, but we'll see. We'll see if I can fool you, King James, because
Well-
it might be interesting to you.
Well, I know that it's in the Black Hills of South Dakota, but Black Hills is not the town, it's the area. They call it the Black Hills of South Dakota, but the town that they actually hosted in is Sturgis. If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, I don't think there's a Black Hills town. So I'm going to go with C.
All right. Well, it's like when they go to city council and everything, they might just go to C, Sturgis. So I got you guys, and like I said, we have all correct answers. Dude, I told you it was easy. You know what I mean? Like, you guys think it's gonna be hard. It's easy questions.
I've actually been there. That's how come I know that. I've actually been there before. So.
I went out there about 20 years ago, and I actually did a podcast about it on my last podcast on the last Willie Jackerson experiment, and it was really fun to kind of go through memory lane, going to Mount Rushmore, and like going through all the Black Hills and everything like that. Dude, the rides are amazing up there. Like, it's really cool.
That's
Got a
awesome.
blast. Yeah.
All right. I know this one.
So, how long does the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally typically last? Is it A, 6 days, B, 7 days, C, 10 days, D, 14 days? It ends when it ends. Good luck, everyone.
Kicked it too quick. Well, I'm going 5 for 5 tonight.
All right.
Come on, Daniel. Stay with me. Get the right one.
Dude, it looks like he's going C.
He got it. It's C, 10 days.
Cesar's going C. Oh man, you guys, man, you're just freaking killing me, man. You are correct. So yeah, it starts at the first Friday in August and ends at the second Saturday in August.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's gonna end this Saturday. I think.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
it does too.
Yeah, so I think it's still going right now. I think it's going until like for 2 more days. So, but Yeah, I mean, you know what? You could do your little victory, whatever, you know. But I made it easy. I made it easy for you. I made it easy for you. And like I say, you know, I'm gonna get a little more tricky as it comes through, you know, just to get them together. But you know, like I say, getting Cesar in here, getting John Reitz in here, getting Daniel J in here. Dude, Daniel J went 5 for 5 too, so technically he tied the champion.
That's okay.
So
I've been
so
spanking
he's like
that ass this year.
dude, he's like a seven-time champion against you. So
You keep going up 2 or 3 every week.
no, 2 or 3. Now you're. Oh, dude. See, Daniel. Dude, there was 5 straight. 5 straight. Daniel got you. 5 straight, easy. Like, dude, Daniel's the GOAT against King James. So I don't know, man. I don't know. He's trying to make stuff up here, you know. But no, you know, Caesar appreciates you. Yeah, dude, that'd be awesome if freaking Adam would come in. Oh, dude, speaking of Adam, got my pickle shop. So, to you, Adam, Adam in spirit, at the end of the Willie Quiz, we do a pickle shop.
Yeah.
So, thank you for reminding me, Cesar. Appreciate it. But the whole thing is that it's a lot of fun. Really appreciate everyone coming, hanging out. Means a lot. Like I say, James, he just gets a little salty. He gets saltier than a pickle shot when he doesn't get them right. But like I say, he gave me a suggestion for one that I'm going to do next week. And so I'm not telling him what his suggestion is. And I will tell other people on YouTube and stuff to give you guys the advantage. But I'm not going to tell James what his suggestion was. He gave me a suggestion that's something that he doesn't know a lot about. So then I'm going to use that for next week's Willie Quiz. So appreciate the suggestion, James. Thanks for telling me what you don't know.
Hey, I got to give you some type of advantage.
The thing is, I tell you they're easy. I'm making them easy, man. I'm making them easy for you. I want you to look like a superstar, you know? Dude, look at all these other educators that are coming out showing all their products and all their stuff that's way better than yours. You know what I mean? Like, see,
Yeah.
you know, you have to glow on that glory parade. You know what I mean? Like,
Gotta do
like there's not that many out there. You know, like.
I know. It's all I care about. You know that?
Well, the thing is, I just want your ego to be prepared for when it happens. You know what I mean? Because I don't want you to just be all high on your horse, you know, and then all of a sudden just get crushed. You know, that's all I care about. You know what I mean? Dude, Daniel knows that. Daniel knows.
I'm all egoed up right now.
Yeah. But, oh yeah, you know. Yeah.
All right, sounds great. Sounds great, Caesar.
Yeah, so if everyone wants to hang out, you know, we're going to just keep going with the show. And what do we do? Tool?
Yep, let's cue it up.
It's time for Tool Review of the Week. Sponsored by Electricians Only Tool Review and Nipex Tradesman.
Oh, dude, you're already in. You're already in the freaking mix, man. Freaking John Reitz got you, man. He's a free agent too, man. He's jumping in there for sure. All right, so we just used this one the other day, and I really love it. It's the Klein Stubby, and man, this thing is a really versatile tool. Like I say, this one is genuinely made in America. I know there's been a lot of Klein tools that have been rumored to be made out of China. This one is not. This one is 100% USA made. And like I say, what's so nice about this is you can basically do just anything you want when it comes to getting in tight spaces. It has that really nice Klein grip on there, so you don't ruin your fingers while you're sitting there turning screws. And the nice part is, I think this is only like 4 inches long or something, so that gives you plenty of room to get in all these places and, you know, get these screws tight and stuff. And I know Daniel, I think Daniel was like the last guy who came to me, and he said, yeah, can I borrow this? And I was like, hell yeah, Daniel, you can borrow anything you want, you know. But yeah, Daniel loves it. You know, John Reese, you know, and John Reese just gave his cousin one of these, and every electrician has to have a stubby. You know, like every time we get into these things, and like what we've done in the past is, like, if you have to like make a hole, what you do is you reach up there with your right angle drill, you make a hole with a self tapper, and then you screw it in with your stubby. You know, so these are like a must-have for like the serious electricians out there. If you're an apprentice, you need to get you a stubby screwdriver, man, because you're gonna need it, and it's really an awesome thing to do. Mine is actually a little different than this one. It's a ratcheting one, but I give this one 100% of all the stubbies out there. This is one of the better ones out there. So
awesome. Okay.
That's my review.
Got us.
Like I say, if you don't have a stubby, go get you a stubby.
Stubby, stubby, stubby.
I always tell the apprentices they probably already have a stubby, but I'm just kidding. You know?
Oh, we're so graphic.
All right, so this one, I know this is already a slam dunk for you. I think this is a rerun, but I'm going through my book and I'm trying to iron out all the ones that I've already done and all the ones that all the new ones. But it's crazy because NFPA did this one too this week, so you can give a big shout out to Dean and Corey Hannes for it's like stealing my code question this week and trying to fool you on it.
Let's see. When exceptions are not a consideration, residential C 40 amps.
Oh, James, man, I don't know, man. You're correct.
I know.
But yeah, it was funny because I think I already did that one before, but I'm trying to get caught up in my book, like to get a place where I like know, like, hey, I already did that one, you know. But it was cool because it, like, a lot of people, like, there was a lot of really good comments. Like, initially Jeff White says 30 amps, you know. And he went and edited, and then he's like, oh, I had it right the whole time. I was like, oh, nice play, but I'm the only one that could do that move. I did it all the time, like, people correct me, and I'm like, oh, man, thanks for the correction, and they're like, yeah, because you're an idiot, and then I'm like, no, I had it right the whole time, you know. It's like, if you want to be a dickhead, then, you know, I'll throw it back at you, you know, like, whatever. I was telling you, thanks for the correction, and then they're like, oh, yeah, you're an idiot, I got to correct you every time. I was like, well, whatever, thanks for the correction, you know, like, it's a lot of fun just having all these people jump in, you know, join in, and like I say, we've had, like, the most amount of views in the last week. Like, I was blown away, like, when I popped in the morning and we hit 100 views that other morning, I was like, wow, I was like, that's cool, you know, like 100 people jumping in and watching our show. That's really cool. You know, everyone's like, oh, that's 50 of your alts. I was like, okay, I don't think so, but you know what I mean, like, it's getting more and more exaggerated every time, you know. It's like,
well, you know, in
all right,
last 4 days, I put 1,500 alt views on the YouTube channel.
There you go. See? Dude, I knew it was your alt. What was it? Stalk Up Electrical Education alt?
Yeah, 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, all the way to 1,500 or 15, almost 1,600.
Yeah, I like to use the different kind of alts that are out there, you know, like you know, you have this Gopher fan, like that's a really popular alt out there. Like to be Gopher fan on YouTube, man, that's like I have to do Gopher fan 01, but you know what I mean? Gopher fan 01, man, he's like the biggest troll out there on YouTube. It's pretty sweet. I use him a lot, so you know, you see Gopher fan 01, that's me out there, you know. Just being having mental problems like I do, you know, but this week's myth of the week, I think you're really gonna like, James. Or
Wall of Shame.
actually no, this Wall of Shame. But no, I think you're gonna really like this, dude. It was crazy because like somebody actually did this. Like it's crazy. Like the amount of time it took, it was ridiculous.
Okay, let's cue it up.
Shame. 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 Shame.
So the number one thing that somebody told me about this is they actually make set screw connectors for rigid. So I didn't even know this. Like when I saw this, I was like, what are they doing here? Like they just carved that thing down to put it in a set screw, you know? And the thing that's weird about it is they actually make rigid set screw connectors where you wouldn't even need to do any of that. So it comes down to like, yeah, it looks like they just whittled her down and made her fit inside a set screw EMT connector. and then it was just like, I didn't understand because I was like, what? Why would you do that? Like, there's, you know, and the whole thing is like, you could have just done like a Erickson fitting.
Yeah.
And you could have just, you know, threaded them together like that, you know, like you didn't need to do it like that.
Man, they did some work there just to get that in there. It looks like they grinded that down to me from what I can see.
Yeah, and then like the whole thing is, if you're in like a class 1 div 2 area, that's actually a code violation.
Oh, sure it is.
Because you don't have a 5 threads fully engaged.
Wow, that's something there. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I put the caption like when you really hate unions.
Yeah, I took that.
But I don't know. To me personally, it's like I don't understand how you are kind of like where we run into the whole thing about a professional and skillful manner. You know, like when you're installing stuff, like you have to have that at the front of your mind.
I'd have turned that down. I can tell you now, I'd have turned that down.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I've been like, you ain't doing that here.
Dude, like, what? I sailed all the way to Hack Island and you're turning me down, you know? But I don't know. To me personally, that's a waste of time. Like, I don't understand why you would spend that much time grinding it to get it to fit. Like, and you just blatantly know, like, that is just not professional, not skillful. Mm-hmm. You know, the skill part is getting the right parts, doing it right, you know?
Sure.
But, I mean, I'm kind of a little geek on that kind of stuff when it comes to cutting and threaded rigid. And I want to have a big shout out to Robert Anderson. He's a guy I worked with. He's an industrial hand that I worked with out in the patch, and he recently commented on some of my stuff. He commented, I want to show it, but the Willie Jackerson install, and you know, like I said, it was just a nipple. A lot of people don't understand. Like, I try to make it look like it was maybe a raceway, but it was pretty cool. It was autographed by Willie Jackerson, you know, of course. But it was really cool to just fit that many conductors, and like they kind of still slide in there a little bit, you know. And I think this is 26. or something, or a 25 or something. Like, I can't remember what I fit in there. I had a ground in there too. I think it was like 25, 26 or something. And it still has a little slack, but I think originally I tried to get 29 in there. I tried to make it legal. I think I talked to you about it, you know. But,
Yeah.
you know, it was like, I think originally I was trying to see how many number 16s I could get.
Yeah.
In a 3/4. I think I was gonna try to get like, I don't remember what it was, but I was trying to get like 40 or 50 number 16s in a 3/4 or something. And I had a bunch of number 16s, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna do it, you know. And then you did the calculation, and you told me what it was, and I was like, oh man, I don't think I get that many number 16s, you know. So then I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was at industrial site, you know. I'm sitting there walking around. All of a sudden, I see like a whole chunk of MC in the trash, you know. I was like, oh man, perfect. I was like, yeah. And I had like a little chunk of conduit, little box, you know what I mean? I was like, cool, my break, I'm gonna put this together, you know. And I went and I put it together, and like, I think I got like 26 in there with the ground comfortably. I think all together I got like 27 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then I went and I looked at the actual post, and I had 29 in the picture, you know. So I might have snuck another couple in there, but the one that I have at the house right now only has like 25, 26, whatever it was, you know.
Yeah.
But it was a good time, and a way to throw Willie Jackerson under the bus for, you know, making these little troll posts on Wall of Shame. And, you know, like I said, it was fun times, you know, just to do it. Like, and it blew me away, because I was telling Robert Anderson, I was like, dude, I don't even have no load side conductors exiting. It's only input, and they're all from the panel, you know. That was part of the joke, you know.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there like, oh, you don't have circuit 7 and you don't have circuit 14. I'm like, dude, they're not going out anywhere, you know, like,
Mm-hmm.
it's only coming in. But it was a lot of fun. And everyone, I had like a lot of really cool comments on that one, where they're like, oh yeah, that was really cool, you know, you can, you put 2 extension rings on there, you're good to go, you know, and that's a full send. And like, everyone's just like, oh man, I'm impressed, like, that's a, you know. And so it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to do it. And like I say, I would never bring that many conductors in and splice them. Like, if it was me, I'd pass them all through. But, you know,
Oh yeah.
it is what it is. Willie's a pretty crazy guy, so
Freaking
it is
Willie.
what it is. But, dude, I really appreciate it. Thanks, James, so much for being such a good sport. I know I bomb on you a lot, you know, trying to get like that free membership to the Stall Cup pass key, you know. So I just, you know, you need somebody to be in there in the comments, you know, to like help out, you know. So I was hoping that, you know, maybe I get like a discount code or something where I could just go in there and kind of like, you know, help out, you know, like moderate, you know, stuff like that, you know. But I was just giving you that offer, you know, just trying to see if we can square up on those free code change mishaps, you know, and like see if we can just finally get all squared up. You know, I know that, you know, when you get back on your feet, I'm gonna get them and everything. So, you know, I know they're coming. You know, I mean, it's not a big deal, but, you know, like I said, I'd like them to be more like 26. Like, if I could get some more 26 code changes, that would be probably, you know, I would even out. You know, like if you give me like 5 2026 code changes and then just equal them out for like 10 2020 code, I'd call it even, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool like that, you know. It's all good. But, you know, like I said, dude, it means a lot that you always like hook me up and, you know, make sure that I'm on the up and up with like the code changes and everything. You know, make sure I'm not like misinterpreting things, you know, like. And like I say, you know, I'm really honored with my public inputs, and like I say, I even got 2 public comments out there, and it's gonna be interesting how they respond to all that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Like I say, the outlet doesn't have to exist.
Well,
Code making panel 2 said it.
you know, It's like I said, you can't have it both ways.
Sure.
I've said that so many times now. You can't pick and
Yeah.
choose. So,
Sure. Oh, dude, did Justin Gibbs just jump in? Oh, dude. Oh, is he talking about the transfer switch thing and emergency disconnect?
can we do it next week? Because I've got Dad over here
Yeah.
going like this. He's ready to go eat.
Yeah, Justin, let's do it, man. That's awesome. Oh, I'd love
Yeah,
it.
come
Oh,
in,
we
ask-
could do.
Or just send me a message if you want, or I can answer it next week, or you can send it to me, and I'll get to it later this evening.
Yeah, and that is pretty cool because yeah, that should be cool. That should be cool. I think emergency disconnect should remove all power,
Well,
but I don't know. I mean, if you have a,
it depends.
if you have,
It depends on how you got it set up.
yeah, if you have a PV and you're not contributing to the service, then that would disconnect your PV. So, to me personally, even if you are contributing, then that would shut that line side down, so you still wouldn't be contributing back to utility or whatever. So I would say that would satisfy the requirement. But I'm interested to talk about that, Justin. And like I say, there's a line load thing in there that we have to look at. So
Well, first of all, what I want to say to that, you got the photovoltaic system that is supplying over to the disconnect or the emergency disconnect. And where is the emergency disconnect located?
okay,
See, that's the thing, because when you're switch off, you're still going to have power from the photovoltaic system. Okay, and sometimes what they do, they have that come in and then they sell power back to the utility. Okay,
Sure.
so it's not going to shut it down. It's always supplying power. I get the question I'd ask of you: will the emergency system, are you saying if I have emergency systems that shut power down to the batteries? Is that what you're asking?
dude, James, I put freaking duct seal on the freaking line side disconnect, man. It's freaking good, man. I even carved it in a little sculpture to make it, skilled and professional manner. But
Well, see, I know what he's asking, because emergency disconnect is disconnect all power to the building. And that would disconnect the power to the building. Okay. So therefore the photovoltaic system is still supplying power over, but not to the building. Okay. So
it
that's
would
why I'm
still be,
asking.
wouldn't it still be supplying to the line side terminals?
Well, that's why I'm asking. How is it set up? I don't know where's your transfer switch. You know, where's the
Okay.
transfer switch in relationship to where the emergency disconnect is?
Hey, Justin, we are working hard to not get questions that gets you laughed out of the IEI section meeting. So, you know what I mean? Like, that is not our intention. Like, we're trying to get, like, honest questions that's not just funny all the time. But I say let's do it next week, James.
Because see, what I would ask in that case, you've got your transfer switch out there, and you got your power coming in, and you've got your PV there, and then you're probably leaving that transfer switch right there, and then that's where you have your emergency disconnect that goes into the building. So therefore, when you disconnect it, it's still going to do that.
Yeah, and
Yeah. So see, that's why I'm asking. That's probably how it's set up, the way that I'm describing it.
yeah,
If you'll send me a diagram, show me how it's all hooked up, I can answer all the questions that you need next week.
yeah. So to me personally, Justin, if you're supplying power to that line side, once that emergency disconnect is open, then it doesn't matter what contribution you have from your separately. It's not even separately drive
It
systems.
shuts it
but
down. There's no power there.
yeah, so it doesn't matter, even though there's still power on that line side disconnect. the intent of the code was to, shut down the load side. Doesn't matter what the line side's doing.
Yeah, because
the
that
line side
disconnecting means becomes your first point of disconnect. So right
Sure.
there is where you're going to establish your grounding electrode system and all of that. And then it's from
Sure.
that point that you disconnect, and that shuts everything down from that point on.
True. No, awesome. Thanks for joining, Justin. Really sorry to cut you short, but Dad's doing the eat symbol, and then once he does the eat symbol, then our show is officially over. That is we need to have you need to just play a song, have a song that you just the minute that he does the thing, just be like do 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 do, and then next thing you know, we're like, all right, cool, the show is over.
Well,
But
since
we
Mom passed away, I sort of watch after him and everything, and
Yeah.
I think it's his. He's 85 years old, and I think every night he looks forward to going and eating. So he's still doing great. For 85, you wouldn't realize he's 85. I mean, he gets around.
Just play just say, hey, did you hear about this new song on the radio? And then just play, I got a sad feeling,
She ain't got no teeth.
Love it, man. That's so hilarious.
All right, let's wrap it up. He's getting hungry. Shit.
All right, man. Thanks for joining tonight, Justin Gibbs. Thanks for joining tonight, everyone. Appreciate you. And remember, make every day an easy day.
Amen. Don't forget to go over to the YouTube site, give subscribe and share, and check out all the new videos that are coming up daily. And till then, we'll see y'all next Thursday. Y'all have a good weekend.
Smash those likes.